Okay, so for this one, we've already showed off how to mine Drimalt to the player, but now we've got to refine it too. So just starting off as usual, this time we start off with 500 Ronk, just to kind of speed up the first bit. At this point you've already refined Gentum, so you're across this concept and we're just kind of showing the trajectory from there. So as the refiner costs 750 right now, just using that first bit of money to set up a hyperdrill, to then set up a condenser, and that should be a good little bit to start pouring in. As you can see, we've now got all three ore types battling around. Here's probably going to be the best spot to set up the refiner. Something like that looks good, and then we're kind of already ready for it once we have the ore. Chuck another condenser in the meantime, and then I'm not really using these other lanes, so we might as well set up a flip drill. Not that we're expecting to get much ore from anything outside of this main condensed line. And we can sneak one more condenser in. At this point we do have enough to start the refining process, and it might even be worth selling this hyperdrill now. That'll get us basically exactly enough. Let's do that. Let's... ooh, that can't go there. Let's put you back there so that our refiner can now point that way. Now we'll start with a flip drill here. Let's see if this gets me exactly 250. Fantastic. Then, whilst we're waiting, I'm just gonna set up a quad drill where we had our hyper drill. So we're still getting some Ronk in. Excellent, as we can see the refiner's working, being grouchy as expected. Waiting for this to... in fact, let's start a Gentum line before we replace our quad drill, as it seems like it's going to still be a little bit... ooh, goodness. Slow on the uptake today. Perfect. Now I've got an extra little bit of Gentum coming out. And in the bottom way, I guess. Excellent. Oh man, really walking into it. It's the first one I'm recording today, so a bit on the rusty side. Excellent. So now we're speeding up that process at least. We've got some Gentum coming in. We probably want to start thinking about where we want to set up a condenser for it, and then where we want to set up that refiner. It's going to be in the way of our Ronk, but I'm not opposed to us just setting up the refiner here, as there's a nice Gentum there. So if that's the case, let's chuck you here. And then at least we've got a little bit of condenser through, and then it's probably about time to improve this. We're a little short though. In fact, what we can do is if we swap this out with a 1-1, then we can swap this side with a condenser, and hopefully that hits. It does. Beautiful. Excellent. So now it's at least doubly condensed. That should speed it up a little bit. And we can start looking at when this is all going to line up. So refining Drimalt, just like refining Gentum, but you've got to use Gentum ore instead. Buy my Ronk. Let's be responsible. Build this out. I don't think this level, this is the tutorial level, so there's definitely no mobs. So you don't really need this Ronk anymore, but it's good practice, I think. Excellent, so I think it's probably worth, since we're looking at needing about 1,000 ore total, I think it's worth us spending 500 ore now to really speed up the process on this side. Not super sure on the numbers whether that's actually correct, but okay, we need a 2-2. That, beautiful. Perfect, so now we've got this nice thick line here, and finally enough. By the time we figured that all out, we well and truly would have had enough Gentum to afford the refiner. Yeah, not our cleanest run, but that's part of the joy. You know, it's the tutorial level. About getting used to these things. On the list of things that can be good practice, just flipping that flip switch the other direction will turn it off, so it's going to stop shooting rock at us. You can sell the building as well, but for the challenge run where you can't sell buildings, I think it's good to get in the habit of, if you just rotate your buildings, then you are prepared. But again, the challenges are really just a try-hard thing I'm dabbling with to really up the ante for very skilled players. Not worry about it until you're, already doing perfect runs. Which, case in point, this has not been. We've already taken like 6-7 damage. That one, in my defense, I was having a sip of my tea. Okay, now that the Drimalt's coming in, oh my goodness. Absolute shocker around this. Same thing for our start, just setting up a little 1-1. Now open lane. Perfect. Excellent, and whilst we're waiting for that to come in, there isn't a huge amount to do. So we can lean at. Let's take you. Be too short. We sell you. Put in a refiner. And again, hopefully just speeding it up a little. But this is the last quest for this level. In this level, you used to have to also mine Garium, the green ore, but we decided if we just shrink it down to the 3 ores, you kind of get the feel for it, and that way you can kind of tell how the progression works. And then when we drop green ores in on the next level, it's at a point where there isn't a super high amount of tension, like it's just hit this low point, which will show off in the next level. You'll be able to see difference, and hopefully it's intuitive for players, but that's definitely going to be one of those soft spots that I'm not super certain. Little cheat there to sneak in 10 extra ore, which probably won't be enough to really improve the time at all, but really that's what you should be striving for if you are, trying to go for your best possible time. And in the end, 8 damage, so not fantastic, but not that far off our speedrun time. Yes, 10%, pretty hefty.